Okay, so now that we have all of our three images open and they're each on their own layer, we're going to rename those layers to get rid of the .jpg after it. So you just double click on the words and then backspace to remove the .jpeg, okay? Double click, backspace past the period to where each layer is named what the image is, and then that is done. So we are going to work individually on each of these layers. So let's select the earth layer. And the first thing we need to do before we can crop these images, it says for us to crop the images without using the crop tool, because the crop tool deletes everything around it that you want. Okay, it just leaves the part you have selected. We want to just basically remove the background. Okay, so we need to add an alpha channel. So how do we do that? Well, you select the layer that you're going to work on first. I'm going to go ahead and start with the earth layer. And then you point to the layer menu at the top of GIMP. Click on transparency in the layer menu and then click on add alpha channel. All right, this means that we can now, whatever we select will become transparent. Okay, and so we'll be able to remove it. So since we are not allowed to use the crop tool to crop our images, we're going to use the selection tools. So since this is a round image, we're going to click to use the ellipse select tool. And the ellipse select tool, if you notice, has a crosshair and then a circle at an angle below it. You just want to line the circle up on the outside of the Earth's surface, then click and drag to draw a circle. And then you just use the little corner squares to adjust your selection until it's just selecting only the earth and not any of the background. Okay. All right, so once you have just the earth selected, you want to go to the select menu at the top of GIMP and you want to select invert. And that shifts the selection from the earth that we selected to the background. Now to remove the background, we're going to click the Edit menu and we are going to click Clear. So now you can see the layer below and only the earth is left. All right, now we're going to hide the earth layer. Click the Select menu and click None to remove any selections. The earth is still as it's supposed to be. And then we're going to click to select the butterfly layer. All right, now for the butterfly layer, we are going to use the rectangle select tool. Once again, we need to create an alpha channel on this layer to be able to crop it without using the crop tool. So let's go back again to the layer menu, and we're going to point to transparency and click add alpha channel. Now we're able to alter the image. So we're going to click the rectangle select tool and we're going to click onto the image and select just the butterfly. Again, you may need to use the little corners to set it up accurately. And then once you have just the butterfly selected, we're going to go back up again to the select menu and we are going to click on invert, which inverts the selection to the background. And we're going to go to the edit menu and we are going to click clear. Now that one has been cropped without using the crop tool. So we can go ahead now and we can hide this layer. Go to the select menu and select none because you can see the selection of the butterfly behind the bison. So when we select none, that gets rid of any selections. And now we're going to select the bison layer and we're going to do the same thing. We need to add an alpha channel first. So we're going to go to the layer menu, point to transparency, and then click add alpha channel. And we're going to use the rectangle select tool to crop this image too, so all we have is the bison's head. So let's click to use the select rectangle select tool. And we're going to click and drag to draw a rectangle to select just the bison's head. And again, we're going to click the select menu and click invert to shift the selection to the background. and then go to the edit menu again and click on clear. All right, and then click select and then select none. So now all of our images have been cropped without using the crop tool. Next step is to use the move tool, the scale tool, and the rotate tool to arrange the images on the page in an attractive way. So I'm going to start with the earth layer. I'm going to use the scale tool. So I'm going to click on the scale tool. Like I said, if you hover over any of the tools, it tells you what the tool is and what it does. So I'm going to use the scale tool. I'm going to select the earth. And I'm going to click in the corners to resize the earth to where it's quite large in the center of the page. When you're happy with the size, just click the scale button in the dialog box that shows up in the corner. Now our earth is much bigger and in the center of the page. We can then use the move tool to move it to where it's actually center. All right, when you have the placement of the earth where you want it, you can hide the layer by clicking the eye icon. Now we're going to select the butterfly layer. And we are going to use the move tool, the scale tool, and the rotate tool for this image as well. So let's start with the scale tool. Click on the image, and again, we're going to pull the corners until we're happy with the size. You can kind of see a faint outline of the image in the open space. When you're happy with the size, click on the word scale in the scale dialog box. That's the button that resizes it. And now we can click to rotate this image as well. There's a rotate tool right next to the scale tool. And if you click on that tool to select that tool, then click on your image, you just click on one of the corners and just kind of pull to rotate it. You can rotate it however you want, okay? So just click and pull till you rotate it. When you're happy with the angle, click the rotate button inside of the dialog box. And now we can move this one. I want to move this one kind of in the center, but over to the right of the page. And if we open the earth, we can see there. Now, I kind of want my butterfly image to overlap the earth a little bit. So to do that, we just need to rearrange the layers. So I'm going to pull the butterfly layer up above the earth layer. So now it's on top. Okay. All right, so I'm going to hide butterfly layer, hide earth layer, and I'm going to focus on the bison layer. So let's select the bison layer. Again, we're going to resize, we are going to scale. Okay, well, resize is scale. And we're going to rotate and move this. I'm going to move him to the upper left corner. So let's click again on the scale tool. Click the image. Whoops, scale tool. Click the image, and then I'm going to make him bigger too. And then when I like the size, I'm going to click scale. And then next door to that tool is the rotate tool. So click the rotate tool and click the image. And then you can pull the corner to rotate it. When you're happy with the angle, click the rotate button in the dialog box. And now we're going to click the move tool to move him to the corner. All right, so now you can open all the layers and see how your arrangement looks. Again, if you want the earth on the top, you can move it to where it's on top. However you move your images, your layers, it shows you which one's on top. Okay? So you can then use the move tool to move each of your images where you want them to be. You have to be on the correct layer for it to select that image. Okay, I think I want my butterfly behind the earth. Okay, so when you're happy, I think I want my bison behind the earth too. So there. So when you're happy with your arrangement, you're going to click save. So click File and then click Save As. Save over your original image, my collage with your name, and then click Replace. And that's it for this question.